Hello, thank you, Rizky, for having me today. My name is Harald. I'm the general manager of the historical Hotel Indonesia Kempinski here in Jakarta.
Can you summarize your journey so far in the hospitality industry?
Yeah, my career in the hospitality or gastronomy has actually started quite early when I was a young boy, young man, and I became an apprentice in a one Michelin star restaurant in Bavaria, where I come from in Germany. I continued then later on after my apprenticeship with another Michelin star chef before I joined a 3-star chef in the south of Munich. And after a couple of years I decided to get more knowledge not only about Michelin star gastronomy and go as well into hospitality, catering, banqueting, etc. So I joined Kempinski in 1996 in Munich, and quickly moved up the ranks. What you do in a kitchen. Kitchens are a bit organized like armies for me sometimes, in terms of titles and hierarchies. But I became with 27 then executive chef in Gozo in Malta, and that was as well the first time for me working outside of Germany, and I never really came back since. So I moved then from Gozo with Kempinski to Moscow, to Russia for the first time at the end of 2004. From then I left Kempinski. I joined the Carlsen Residual Hotel Group. I was working with them as an opening executive chef and then F&B manager in Kiev in the Ukraine. From there I moved to London, to the UK as director of operations. Then I got my first position as GM actually in Germany. It was the only time I was back for a couple of months, but unfortunately the hotel was sold and we handed it back to the owner. So for me, a great opportunity to move back to Russia, as I was offered to open 2 hotels for the Winter Olympics in Sochi in 2014. So I spent 3 years in Sochi preparing 2 properties for an amazing event and an amazing experience I have had there. And after the Olympics, I continued my international journey. I moved to Cairo in Egypt, and then my wife became pregnant. So that she's from Russia. We had a great opportunity going back to Sochi at the end, the 3rd time for me in Russia. And there was a position, Capella as area GM, which I took then, and joining Capella as a really small ultra luxury hotel group was a fantastic opportunity. And with Capella, and unfortunately after 1 year we debranded the properties due to ownership changes in the resort. And then I continued my career with Kempinski and came so as well the first time to Asia, and I started in the north of China in Dalian, and then continued my way further south until I spent the last 2.5 years in Suzhou, just outside of Shanghai. And after being 6 years in China, I got a great opportunity to move further southeast. I was always looking forward to work in this area and to come to Jakarta, where I am right now.
You began your hospitality career in the kitchen, and later the F&B department. What was the reason that made you decide to pursue higher management?
I think for me, my dream was to become executive chef in a Michelin star restaurant. That was, I achieved it actually quite early. I was 27 years of age when I became executive chef with Kempinski in a beautiful hotel in the Mediterranean Sea. But then when I joined our first really official kind of meeting with our general manager and other department heads, I was not really happy with the outcome of the meeting and the input of some of my colleagues. So I felt I need to become general manager and take over the chair of my boss at this time, to have an influence on the entire guest experience of the hotel. That was for me the main reason to leave the F&B area.
Your career took you all around the world, from Europe, Africa and then Asia. Can you tell us what's the biggest difference between working in each region?
The biggest difference I found out a couple of weeks, actually later, a month when I moved to Gozo and to Malta. And a lot of people always say Germans are very organized, very strict in the way they work. And I tried to do the same in Gozo and Malta, but I realized after a couple of weeks that I'm working with a different culture. I'm not working with German people. I'm working with Maltese people by then. And I think since that, certain tools I learned, or lessons I learned in my life was everywhere. It's a different culture, and I think you have to respect culture. That's the biggest difference wherever you go, because for me in hospitality, it's always about having satisfied customers. Depending on the level and the customer you have and what the customer expectations are, yeah, we have to ideally exceed them. Yeah? And that's everywhere the same. Yeah? So culture is the biggest difference. Yeah?